Hey all, so in today's tutorial I want to show you a 5x5 funnel trapdoor that I've made a while ago. I think it's still really good. It's one of my best Observerless doors to this day, so I will still show it. So yeah, it is Observerless, and it's definitely not my first of this version, but it's my best, and it's actually good enough for it to warrant a explanation, in my opinion at least. So this is version 2.1, which sounds weird. I mean, how do you have a version like 2.1 implies that it's only like a slight change from version 2, and that's true. In fact, most of the front here is exactly the same, but what version 2 had were plates to power. That is a bit cringe. So what I did was I redid the sides because they had quite a bit of air, so that I have a redstone double piston extender. And besides that, yeah, I mean, I'm just still very happy with the store. Material list. You need 60 door blocks. 32 of those are like the ones that actually are like part of the door when it's closed, and some like for example this like is not part of the door when open or closed, but it needs to be solid. So that's just a distinction between those two. Then you need this amount of of each color if you want to color code it, or just 80 of anything. Actually there are no transparent blocks directly used. I mean, I use transparent blocks, but those are always hoppers. So we have 47 sticky pistons, 2 normal pistons, 32 repeaters, 24 dust, 9 targets. Not all of those targets are needed. You could, in theory, for example here, you could just make this a normal block and then have a redirector here, but that would blow up the volume, and I do not like volume inflation for the sake of volume inflation. So I'm not doing that. But in theory, a lot of these can be circumvented. This one, for example, can't be. This one can't be, but this one can certainly be. And I think some others also have. Yeah, these two can all be circumvented. So yeah, just use this if you don't know what you're doing. 9 hoppers, 8 redstone comparators, 8 node blocks. Technically also all of these could be node blocks. I don't know. Then we're gonna have 8 droppers, 7 redstone blocks, 3 torches, 1 dispenser, and 1 oak leaf with 1 water bucket to fill this with. In theory, you could remove the oak leaf and instead use potted snow, but that's more expensive and harder to get. That's why I've used like leaf water combination. You could also use mangrove roots water combination, but okay, why? You also need 1 minecart to test and replace it just 1 rail, because you don't need any aligning for this, and you have 10 normal blocks. For the dimensions, it is 3 high, which is why I really like this, and it's 11 by 13, so it has +2 on each side of the hallway, except for the side with the triple, there it's +4. So, coming for layout, the triple is, if you have a 3D pole for these dimensions, which is 11 by 13, then and have like your hallway built like this, go to set wave 4 extra, and we're gonna place the triple piston extender here. Now what makes triple piston extenders hard in trapdoors here is someone need to power the front piston. So we push in a redstone block, but okay, where are we gonna put this? Obviously you can just push it to pull it to the side and then have, oh, now we need to remove this. And usually, like in older doors, what was used was something like this, but that's inefficient. Rather, we can use this. Actually, I'm gonna quickly show something. So, and then we're in this position, or this, and then we can just spam this a bit, and then that will do the triple. So let's get a blocking thing here. Place a double on top, then we have another double to the right, and we have 3 singles. That's the front. Then we're gonna go up here. Actually gonna go one like to the middle. This side up one over, and then we have 4 singles as well. And that pattern continues of going to the middle of like the side. And up one, place a double there, and then 4 singles. That stays for everything except the last side, because that last side also, which is like the only difference, has another single here. Yeah. So let's start with the triple. Just get like a few thingsies. So this starts out with well, we need to power make the first like kind of DPE extend thing so that we even get this piston here, and that we do via powering this with a 4-tick, and this powering that piston with the same delay but only with a 2-tick, so this stays on shorter. So when we power this, we get to this, yeah. That's by the way, that's what this is for, to easily correct this. So now what we need to do is we need to re-extend this, which we do from wait, I'm stupid. God, am I stupid? It's already starting really bad. Yeah, I am stupid. Yeah, because you have the 4-tick right here, that's why I'm stupid. And then we go up one over, and we have the dust here. Yeah, note block right here, and we have a 2-tick right here. So what this will do is, so now we just need to power this at the right timing, and then the closing is done. And if we are in this state, and power this again, also retracts this and sets us up for the spammy thing to finish them all. So that's pretty good. But we need a 1-tick or 2-tick pulse to start off. And that is a bit annoying to get, so let's get it. So we have 2 dust here with a forge and a redstone block. Top of that. So, and this is just a 1-tick gen. And this gets powered from the input via this block, so I sort of from here. And this is the input block. Shit. So now we need to power this at the right time, because the thing is we can't power it as soon as this block is here, because if we do that and this extends, we kind of end up in this state, and that's not good. I mean, I guess we could still update this, but I'd rather not do that much work. So powering this at the right time is a bit tricky. We do it with this comparator. And that comparator actually, the powering happens from here. So I have a dust here, and that we need to cut off. So sorry, 1 block more like this. This is actually a part of the yellow dropper line, and this needs to be placed like so, like facing into the comparator. As of right now, this is actually would already work, but we need to obviously to make this also return. So what we do for this is we need to remove this again and this, and have like this kind of loop with the comparator. here, and then the minecart literally just can be dropped in one rail. That's that. But there's a problem with this, and the problem is that this is the hopper doesn't keep the item. It just holds it for a bit, so that even when we power this, it doesn't stay on for long. And we solve this by putting a target right here, and this is gonna be purple, like so. Have like some delay here. Let's see that does the full triple. So what happens now is that if we get another pulse here, things happen, and then yeah. So this does a lot of stuff. Now the final part of this is actually light gray, and let's actually quickly place in the burnout, which is right here. And that burnout is the thing that does the spammy part. And we power it by this torch. And it's not gonna be this thing, this is actually gonna be a target, because we don't want this to power this. Now what we want is we want the item that ends up here, that this item goes down here. And so in the second time when Lime powers during opening, or not the second time, like the first time it powers during opening, because it powers once during closing, once during opening. But for the second time in like a cycle, that item will be not here but here, and so it will get pushed up. And that we're gonna read out from this comparator into this, and this is where we have the dispenser leaf combo. And with the torch here, we ensure that this is like quite a lot of delay. So what we have here, we have dust, and we're gonna just place some blocks like so. But we have a 4 tick here and a 2 tick here. And that, because you need to lock this, because otherwise, like, we wouldn't just spam this, but also this. And if we were to retract this, I think you can see that that would not be good. So actually, let's just look at this. And yeah, we need to do 1 tick manually. So let's get it 1 tick happening not manually, which is gonna happen from this corner. We have a target right here, and this is gonna be a 4 tick. And to dust 4 tick, lock up 2 tick. And now we actually have that. I mean, like, 2 tick is also fine for this. Doesn't need to be a 1 tick. But the double kind of screws up, and we need this space to go over here. So there's some other issues we at hand. And we also need to like do all of the logic for this. I mean, we have quite a bit of space here, but we don't have like an insane amount. So the way we're gonna keep this both held on, so that like both of them retract properly, is with this dropper hopper. I think this was cyan. Yeah, it was cyan. Like so. I'm doing another thing here, and we're gonna put in 3 items here. We need 3, and we also need to lock this from here with a 4 tick. And then we need here, I think it was at least a 2 tick. I think 2 ticks works here. Don't quote me on that. Also, we need to power the frontmost piston, which is gonna happen via this. There's just gonna be a 1 tick. I mean, like this delay doesn't, and this is actually 4. I think 3 also works. Yeah. So this is pretty decent. Yeah. Now to the actually complicated part of the store, which was like getting the size here, because we have this redstone block double in each corner. Also here. So we don't have much space for a lot of logic. Now the way we power this overall is just this and like these sides that are green, and we have just an item in here. We also need to make sure this gets updated from below with a node block. Up into a block and a 4 tick. That's pretty decent. We're gonna put a redstone right here. That powers this, and we need to get the signal over, and for that we're just gonna put a dropper hopper. And actually, let's look at this. This is obviously the full extension, but this is something else. I'm just gonna freeze this really quick to show you. So, when turning off, this happens, and then this extends again, and just before this turns on, this retracts. It seems like weird, but you have to remember the pulse coming in is a 3.5. So this unpowers at 3.5 while this powers at 4. And that difference of 0.5 or like 1 game tick is what is actually what makes this retract. And this kind of technique is something the store really hinges on. So we're gonna go up here, read this out, and we're gonna power the back of this like so. Wasn't this a 2 tick? It was a 1 tick. I'm stupid. And this actually does already like the front probably retraction, unless I'm stupid. So what I need to do now is just this double, like powering in the front and doing all the rest of the logic for this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a 3 tick here. Needs to be a 3 tick, can't be like a 4 tick. We're gonna have a target here, and that will be 4 tick. We need a lot of delay on here. Alright, oh no, we need a 3 tick down here and a 4 tick up here, and this is gonna go into this. That actually just does everything. I wish I could explain this better, but I just like brute force this corner. Oh yeah, not block here. To turn this off. So how I explain this works is because I understand how it works. It's just a bit hard to explain that. So when this turns off, the back piston turns off, obviously. Without the front piston turning off. Oh yeah, it's QC'd from here. That's why it turns off later. Now when this re-extends, this extends with 1 tick for 3.5 minus 2. That's for 2.5 game ticks. This will extend. And then that is where this line gets poured again. So we drag this. But because like this is posed with a 3 tick, and this actually unpowers earlier, and with this thing, yeah, that's basically literally the same thing we have here. Like it doesn't power again, like fully extend again, because this takes too long to turn on, so it retracts. That's literally what this is. And the cool thing about this is we have that again. So we have a 3 tick here, not a target, and not a target. I mean not a drop hopper. And this time we also need this block here. Here we didn't because this got powered from the input, but here we do because this one doesn't get powered from anywhere else. Putting a 4 tick here. Also, I'm just gonna fill in all of these with glass. Everything I fill in with glass can be whatever. As long as it's like not TNT or redstone blocks or shit like that. If you do that, then that's on you. And this obviously needs to be hopper. So this is pretty easy. Retake. Yeah, just a repeat of tick or tick. You should also like put an item in here. And the dust here. God. Now for the last corner, it's different because like also this is different because we don't have that much room here and we need to leech off of other things. So what we have is we have a free tick and this just powers this vortex. And so that still does that. So, but this corner is a bit different. So the very first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a free tick, a 2-tick repeater in here, and we need to power this piston. And the way we do this is, seems weird, makes sense. I have a drop hopper right here, and 2 dust on top, so that's that. Also this, we're gonna make a target because we need that to be a target later. But we will get to that later. Over here. Then we have a target. And this with our 1 tick, I believe it was. Yeah, it was a 1 tick. This also we're gonna put on here, and we're gonna put a dust here. And this seems locational, but it's not because this will be redirected. But for now, I'm gonna just put this like so. This is after closing. I mean, but you can see also this is definitely still not fully done. And as you can see, there are some issues here. Like rejection doesn't really work. And that is due to us needing to refire this differently. Because as you like remember, this side gets a refire by itself, but this doesn't. So we need to get a refire from somewhere else. And what we do is we're gonna get this refire from this hopper. And that's why this needs to be a target, because we have a block on here. And here entry port as well as signal strength of 1. And this is where this is really convoluted. So I had a lot of problems that just got QC'd from here when I had this just a block for wrap. But this allows me to power this with signal strength of 1, and this refires this entire thing without interfering with this, because it can't QC it because hoppers are transparent. So that's pretty decent. So, as you can see, this does a lot, but not everything. Because the last part will get done from a different thing. So because we need like a full triple piston extender and like we have no space left. Except we also don't need that because putting a free tick right here just does everything. That seems so weird. And I will be honest, I found this while brute forcing it. Like in the sense I just tried out a lot of combinations. And it just worked out. But I can explain why it works. Which is arguably cooler. So what we have here is we have this the free tick wrap dust with target and node block. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. If you hear somebody mowing the lawn in the background, that's probably my dad. So now we're just gonna put yeah, this is right. Just gonna put a block up here, and now if we update this, this is just a full double. And yeah, I love this design. That's like, cause that allows me to abuse like this burnout to the max. Which yeah, is pretty cool. Yeah, so this is the store. I will quickly, and for that I'm gonna turn up the render distance again. I'm gonna quickly show my older DOS because like you've seen version 2 and version 2.1, but you haven't seen version 1 because I never showcased that, or at least like not in a standalone video, and that is this. I'm pretty happy with it. Back then it was like already one of my best Observerless stores. It is more entity heavy. Back then I was really happy with these corners and like also my use of entities because I've first really grasped how to use them. Nowadays I try to use not that many of them, but yeah. There's something really goofy in this store that like this retraction of this double gets actually done in this corner with this item loop, which is kind of goofy. That like does the retraction for this piston. Yeah, also like besides the fact that it like is 4 high, this is also the same exact dimensions. Here you can see like the original version 1.2 and 2.1, and I'm really happy with this. I sadly couldn't remove this one card, but I'm still happy with the store. It's a decent door. Yeah. So I am back. Tutorials. I have a lot of doors and a lot of things I've done over the time that I've not shown last. Like if you want to have a better explanation about that, then watch last video where I explained it better. But I am back and I will make more tutorials, and I'm starting with these smaller doors because if I start with the flipping 0.9 that you see like some of the work in progress versions in the back there, I will just get depression. So I'm starting with smaller things because memorizing half an hour of door is way easier than memorizing 7 hours probably or something like that worth of door. So yeah, thanks to I really can't, I'm really just not able to do this anymore. Thanks for watching, I'm out and see ya.